What's up? It's Kevin Mano here at MYfm with George Ezra.
Hello, how are you?
Welcome back, buddy.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
We're doing this interview inside today. We normally do these outside on our balcony. We have a beautiful balcony out there, but the weather here in Los Angeles, this is rare.
It's really raining. It's really raining.
And George just told me that when they left the hotel this morning, he asked the front desk, "What you tell the story?"
I just said, "Is there any chance I could borrow an umbrella?" And they said, "I'm really sorry, we've already given our umbrella away." So the hotel I'm staying at has one umbrella. But I was saying that makes sense.
In
LA.
Los Angeles.
That makes complete sense.
Totally.
So, yeah, I should have been there sooner.
Congrats on everything, man. Things seem to be going really well for you. You just found out about the Brit Award nominations.
Yeah.
That's huge.
That is, I can always gauge when something's big when my friends actually bother to text to say congratulations.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't always happen. And I got a lot of texts saying congratulations. So that I was kind of like, oh.
Who was the first text from?
I don't know. It's just like a hierarchy of who I should like the most.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Mum was definitely quite quick.
Do you tell your parents, or do your parents hear about it and then reach out to you?
I normally get told off by my folks for not kind of telling them. They find out from other people. Or often my mum will say, "I hate finding out what you're doing through your Facebook." And
well, who would you go to first? Would you go to friends or family, or would you go to social media first with like, "Oh my God, look what happened"?
Well, I don't want to annoy people. I don't want to be like, "Oh, guess what I'm doing? Guess what I'm doing?"
Yeah.
Because the nature of what we do is there's always something happening.
Uh-huh.
So I don't really tell people anything. So maybe that should be my New Year's resolution, to communicate more.
You do a good job of communicating. I honestly, this is a compliment for you. Your social media presence. I like to do a little like journal on your website. Obviously, the podcast, which you've been doing for just about a year now. Mm-hmm. You connect with the fans, and it seems almost effortless. Like a lot of other artists, you can tell their label or their management are telling them what to do. For you, it just seems like you're just a dude living, and you kind of call your own shots. At least that's what it seems like.
Yeah, I'm a rebel by nature, absolutely. I think the thing regarding the journal and the podcast is kind of like, it's just a bit more kind of fleshed out. So for the journal, for instance, once a week I just sit down and I write what I've been up to.
Seems like the type of thing that people would say, like, I'm going to do this on the website, and then after 6 months, they just
give
forget
up.
about it.
Yeah,
but you're still doing it.
I'm still doing it, but I quite enjoy it because it forces me to sit down once a week and write essentially like an A4 piece of paper. And I think that's a good practice regardless of if anyone's reading it or not.
Yeah.
And then the podcast, that's just fun. You know, I sit down with other musicians and just talk about music. It
seems fun,
yeah.
Honestly. And I love that you do it, and you get amazing guests, the best guests in the world, really.
Yeah. So the first guest we had was Ed Sheeran.
Yeah.
And the reason it's amazing for many reasons, but the reason it's so helpful that he did it first is that kind of, it makes it more appealing for other guests as well. Do you know what I mean? So that was a big help.
Yeah. Is this something you want to, I mean, obviously you're a musician first, but you're a good interviewer. Do you want to keep doing that? Is that a potential, a talk show one day or something like that?
As a kid, all I wanted was to have a radio show.
Really?
Yeah, because I loved sharing music and hearing music, and that kind of made sense to me.
Let's swap lives for a couple of days. I'll go play some shows and you do the radio show.
But I think I was so nervous starting the podcast because it is a completely different skill set, and you don't have training for it. But as it stands, I love doing it. It's one of those things that I kind of see as almost as a side project, and I'm happy just to let it roll on and keep happening for as long as it can.
Yeah. I keep hearing about it. It's big. People are talking about it. You're doing well.
Yeah, and that's another, very flattering thing, because I don't know. I listen to a lot of podcasts, but before starting my own, I didn't quite know how that worked. Mm-hmm. What I should anticipate regarding how many people would listen to it, or if people would even be interested. And as it stands, it seems like people like it, which is
good.
Lovely. Yeah.
Are you a little more mindful of bad interviews now, like when you're interviewed? And
Yeah, I appreciate interviews in a different way now. I always enjoy doing them for different reasons, and now I kind of understand what goes into an interview. Because you can't wing it. There's no way of just blagging it. So you have to sit down and find out about the guest. There's been one or two guests that I've had though where I've deliberately not dug too much because I wanted to hear it from them.
And there's something to that.
Yeah.
Because you're sort of hearing it for the first time, just like the listener's hearing it for the first time. You don't already know everything about the person.
Yeah, exactly. And then there was one or two where I probably found out a bit too much, and and then. But all of them have been brilliant for different reasons. And I always say to people before they listen to it, I guarantee the episodes they'll enjoy the most are artists that they don't necessarily know anything about. Because it's I don't know. They're more interesting, I think.
Yeah. Who do you have lined up? I know you just put out the Nile Rodgers one.
Yeah, so Nile Rodgers
awesome.
was today, and then this series will end. As it stands, the last episode is Tom Jones, which was huge. Yeah, that was amazing to sit down with him.
Did you do that at his house? I know you go to these.
Yeah, so for Tom Jones, I almost just called him Tom. My mate Tom.
Buddies.
So Mr. Jones invited me over to his, which was amazing. For Nile Rodgers, because he's the creative director at Abbey Road Studios now. So for that one, we were at Abbey Road, which was amazing. There's and also on this series, Kurt Vile was one of the guests I sat down with. Yeah, in Scotland. I let it slide, but we sat down together at 1 p.m. and he said good morning, and he really meant it. That was definitely morning in Kurt Vile's world, but that was brilliant. I loved that one.
That's
too.
awesome. And is this you? I mean, is it just like, do you have people kind of? Was this your idea? Is this just George Ezra doing this thing on his own with his musician friends?
Yeah. So I've got. I went out and bought the microphones. I bought some kind of lapel microphones, as we call them in the industry.
Do you film this stuff?
No, I don't.
No.
That was the initial idea, but then I thought it changes the way people. It changes the nature of what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I wanted it to be as appealing as possible at the beginning to get people in. So I just thought, well, if I just get the microphones and I just say whenever you're available, and that makes it more appealing, I think.
And even the lapel mic is smart because people aren't holding something. They're not thinking about the fact that there's a microphone right there.
And I always let them know that they get the final say on the edit. And also so that people.
Has anyone come back and pushed back on an edit and said, take that out?
Yeah, once or twice. And I never question it. And it always kind of makes sense, the bits that they want out.
Yeah. You have no creative control here over this.
No, absolutely not. Yeah.
The last time you were here, you told us, we asked you about, how you pass time on airplanes, all these long flights you're traveling all over the world all the time. And you said no screen time on airplanes. Are you sticking with that?
Not so much anymore. Just before Christmas, I got a Nintendo Switch.
Ooh, God, I'm jealous. I want a Nintendo Switch.
So yeah, lots of screen time on planes. And a lot of flights at the moment as well. We've kind of started the year, because these American promo runs that we do, it's kind of like, I don't know when we started, say it was the 8th. I can't remember. Okay. But we've done New York, New Orleans.
It seems like you've been super busy. LA. A lot of TV, a lot of interviews.
The only way to get to those places is by plane. So it's non-stop. And then we go from here. We play our first ever show in Dubai, which is exciting.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then on to Australia. So we've started the year as busy as we ended last.
Yeah, it seems like it, man. And then when are the Brit Awards? Is that next month?
Yes, I think it's later next month. If I'm honest with you, I'm trying not to think about it too much.
Oh, the awards? Yeah, probably a good idea.
Yeah, I'm not one to really get too nervous about things. But there's something intimidating. It's a big room. There's all your peers around.
And that's like the Grammys. That's our Grammys.
Yeah, exactly that. It is the equivalent of the Grammys in the UK. Yeah, so overall, I'm definitely looking forward to the Brits.
Yeah. What's your dad's voice sound like? You have such a iconic voice. Did you get it from him?
I don't know. He does. My dad does play guitar and he sings for fun. It's like he's got his band, and I don't think we sound massively similar. But then my little brother sings as well, and I don't think me and him sound similar either. Because I think this is just my take on it. But when you first start kind of writing and playing. You're just copying the people you admire.
Totally.
Yeah, and that's what you're doing. And although, say, in mine and my brother's case, there's a lot of artists that we like the same, but there's also a lot of artists that he got into that, for whatever reason, I just missed. And that will have kind of changed the way that he approaches it all. I don't know if I sound that similar to my dad, though.
No.
I don't think so.
Would you say, how long did it take you to find your own sound? Or do you think you're still in some way emulating the people you used to listen to?
No, I would say something massive happened to me once I started properly touring. And that was when I recorded the first album, I was still kind of shouting more. It's not, not screamo, but it was definitely less technically healthy the way I was singing.
Gotcha.
And then you start touring and you realize I can't keep this up.
It's not sustainable.
I can't do it.
Some people do though, like the metal bands, the punk rock band. I don't understand how their throats can handle that sort of abuse.
I don't, and I wish I knew. I wish I knew. And I kind of, so it's definitely. I would say that my voice is a little bit kind of smoother on the second album. And I still feel as if it's changing when we tour. which
How
I
low
love.
can you go? Let's hear something. Just
Do you know, not as low as you'd think. So I have to warm up before each gig, and I have to do these embarrassing warm-ups, which I probably shouldn't mention.
please
now
give
you want
me
to
one.
hear them.
I want to hear one, and then I'll do it, and then I'll be the one that's embarrassed.
No, so genuinely, I have to listen to these. They're like MP3 recordings that I follow along, and they've got kind of polyphonic backing tracks. Yeah, they're embarrassing. They're for behind the curtain.
What's it sound
I think.
like, though? I want to hear something.
Do you remember ringtones kind of 10 years ago?
Sure.
They sound like that.
Okay. And then you just hum along or something?
Yeah. So another one that a lot of people do is they get like a drinking straw, and you just sing your songs in the same key but through the straw. That warms your voice up, apparently. I think
You're going to go to jail if you do that here, though. You know, the California just banned plastic straws.
Oh, yeah, I did, yeah.
Yeah.
I found that out last night when I didn't have a plastic straw.
I'm sorry. To hear that.
Yeah, but I don't think I have as low a voice as you'd think.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Where in America would you, if you ever were going to move to America, where would you like to live? You a East Coast guy, a Los Angeles guy?
I don't know, because I've loved my time in like Boulder. I loved.
Oh, wow.
I like. We just came from New Orleans a few days ago, and that was amazing. I love Chicago.
I'm from Chicago.
I love it
Chicago
there.
too. Yeah.
I could live there. But I just feel very. I believe we get to see a side of America that even a lot of Americans don't get to see, because when you tour, you from city to city, often the drive is too long, and you have to stop in these towns that no one would go to. I don't think.
Right.
Unless you had to. And I just, it's incredible to see a side of a country like that. I love it.
It's cool. It's quite an experience, honestly.
It's like,
Not many people get that. You get to see, honestly, not even just America, but the world.
no, absolutely. And it just changes so much from state to state, I think. I don't know if that's like from a tourist point of view, but I think that the countries, it changes a lot. It's incredible.
I mean, there is I don't want to get political or anything, but now more than ever, there's a clear difference in, there's this part of the country and there's this part of the country. I don't mean geographically, but just different types of people in different parts of the country. Do you see that, or are you mostly talking to George Ezra fans, so they're all kind of like-minded?
I don't think I see it, really. I think you see like little extremes of people really voicing their opinions. I do see that over here, but that's not normal in any way, shape or form. That's not the norm. I think that on a whole, I don't know. Personally, I think it's good to keep politics out of your relationships, because I think you could strongly disagree with someone and still get along with them really well, I think. But I don't think I see it. I know what you mean. From state to state, would it change? I haven't seen it personally.
Okay. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Americans are mostly good people.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you you coming by. What'd you do for the holidays? How'd you spend your? Do you have some time off?
I did have some time off. I finished on the 18th of December. We do a show for a charity back home, so we do that each year, and we have a few guests along. And then I went home, and I didn't move for 2 weeks.
Really?
Yeah, I'd sat in one spot for 2 weeks.
Did you gain weight?
I gained loads.
That's what we do here.
Yeah, I love it.
Over the holidays.
That was my aim. Christmas isn't Christmas unless you gain weight.
Right.
So yeah, I did very little, and I saw a lot of people that I don't see anywhere near enough of, which was lovely.
Good. Did you play your Nintendo Switch?
A lot.
What do you play other people? Like you're
No.
playing your friends, or you just do it?
We did a bit. We had 1 or 2 nights. The reason I'm laughing so much is because everyone that's traveling with me at the moment, I haven't shut up about it. I love it, but because because I never used to play games.
Yeah, same here.
I'm not a gamer, but
my only games ever were like the original Mario games.
Yeah. Well, that's what we played.
Oh,
Mario
okay.
Kart, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
But you're annoying people now with the Nintendo Switch.
Talking about it. Yeah.
Well, dude, thank you for being here, George
Not at
Ezra,
all.
back at MYfm. We love having you here.
Thank you for
You're the
having me.
best.
Thank you very much.